everyone. My name is Risto. You may call me whatever you want. Babyface, Risto or Mr. R or whatever. I don't take any offense. Welcome to Shoshin Temple, but it's also called Sambo Ga Khyaya Samga. Really hard to pronounce it. But this is a place where we do guided meditations, and we like to study how meditations are done in a traditional way from Buddhist point of view, but then also we share Buddhist philosophical ideas and Buddhist religious ideas itself. And this is a free space where people can completely openly talk about whoever they are and what they want to talk about and so on. This session itself is streamed on twitch.com on my Twitch channel, and my Twitch channel can be found in my description, and then it will be later on put on YouTube. But it's wonderful to have you guys over here. And today I was not really thinking about having a specific topic to talk about. Today I was actually thinking about just coming on the stage and just listening to you guys, whatever you guys want to talk about. So I'm completely open for whatever topics that you have in mind that you want to talk about. I have my own topics that I could talk about, but I want to mostly emphasize what are the struggles in your life, and if you have any questions or anything like that, or any topics that you would like to discuss openly. Like, for example, some life issues or some victories that you have made in life, or anything that you want to celebrate and so on, and share it with other people. For the first 30 minutes, that's an open conversation, open, wholesome conversation that we are having over here before we are having the meditation itself. Is there anyone who wants to share something? Any kind of topic? Anything that they have experienced? I'm gonna open up. Oh, there we go. What's up?
I have something to share. Okay. Today I joined one of the instances of this world, color world, and it was laggy for me. I looked at my graph, and there were CPU load spikes. So moving to another instance fixed it. Maybe you could just rejoin, I don't know. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah. Maybe that.
It will make your experience better.
Yeah, maybe that. How many people do we have in chat? What? We have 5 people. Okay. No, wait. Is that 9 or 5? 5. 5 people. If you guys don't mind, I will rejoin. But during that time... Wait. What? Now everything's fine. What? What happened? It's just out of nowhere. Everything went fine. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So someone just snapped their fingers and made everything well for me. Well, whoa.
How to do with the controller?
I don't know. It was my controller did a backflip or something like that, a spiritual backflip. But yeah, I love talking about. There's more people joining. I love talking about spiritual aspects of life and trying to give answers to that from Buddhist point of view, because that's what I have been studying for a year and a half on my own free time. But when we are talking about spiritualism, we are talking about questions that are really deep about your own life, what gives you meaning in life, what makes you happy, what makes you sad, and what do you actually drive for in life, and so on. So these are really topics that we love to talk about over here. Hello, you're free to join.
Hola.
Hola, hola.
¿Cómo ça va? Ça va bien?
Is there anyone that wants to share anything, or if no one has anything to share, any kind of topic or any kind of experience, I can also introduce a topic that we could talk about.
I think introducing something would be better.
Yeah, for sure. I'm also these are pretty much my first sessions, so that's why it's kind of still learning how to have this in general. But today I would like to talk about what does love mean to you guys? Like in general, the word love itself. Because that's a really core,
Go think about that.
that's a really core aspect of like spiritual, like, progress. And I would love to hear, like, what does love mean to you guys? You can just say openly. Truly appreciating the other person and like caring for them. But I was trying to read at the same time when I was listening to you, so could you repeat what you said?
Okay, I have really bad memory, so I forgot like half of it.
Yeah. This is going
like,
wonderfully.
So for me, my bedroom is like my safe space.
Yeah.
And same in VRChat, I have a world that is like my safe space.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, for me, love is also having that safe space with someone else, where you can, you come home, not have to worry about anything. Have your safe area, where you can open up and things like that, where you're not getting judged, things like that. In the outside world, you kind of put up a shield to protect against certain things from people, all that kind of stuff. And then, if you're in love with someone, you can let your guard down. You can let that down and focus on other things in life. I think that's an important thing.
That's very true. Like, would you say that, like, when you are experiencing love, you usually can be just the way that you are, and that it's a safe place, and that you have positive feelings?
Yes, like I don't have to worry about things. When I have to worry about things, then I know, okay, this is not it. There's a lot of things going in someone's life, and the last thing you want is, you don't want to have to worry about things with the person you're in love with. Like, let your thing down, just relax with them and things like that. Of course, there's still gonna be things you have to worry about. But it's a bit, feel safe and all that kind of stuff. Each their own. Everyone has their own way of feeling safe, stuff like that.
Does anyone have anything to add into that? About the concept of love?
Like a classroom, everyone's quiet.
Just know that this is also a place where you're accepted just the way that you are, and that there's no one trying to hurt you over here, and there is we are trying to aim for non-judgment. So if you have something to say, like, it's completely fine just saying whatever you want to say. But I love the idea of love itself. Like, I love the idea of love because it's just a really good, like, aspect of life. And I think it's one of the most important things about life itself. I don't know if you guys know about some of the, what is it called? Situations where babies have been taken care of in hospitals. And if the babies haven't been nurtured enough with love, like actual, like, warmth and love, they have a less likely chance of actually surviving. So it is almost like food itself, that it's some kind of like emotional food that you kind of need. And it is really sad to see that there's like a lot of people that experience life without love. I don't know if you guys, like, it's, of course you don't have to share it at all if you don't want to, but I have felt multiple times in my life where I felt like, no one loved me. But have you also felt like that throughout your life?
Yeah.
That no one loved you and you were just completely alone and so on?
Yeah.
But maybe some people are even experiencing it right now too, as we speak. Um, I really want to love and appreciate it, but I'm trying to read Royal's comment over here.
So yeah,
Ah, that's interesting. So you have like this kind of paradoxical situation where you want to be loved and appreciated, but you convince yourself that it's like that you're just taking away from other people and you don't deserve it. That's really interesting, and I think you're not the only person at all, in general, who's experiencing that kind of situation where you want things, but then you feel bad when you get the things that you want. Because I also feel that way too, quite often. That like I want things, but if people give it to me, then it's like, oh no, like they have to give effort and so on. But love itself is really an umbrella term in English. I think English is quite a clunky language itself, and it has like just one word for love itself. I don't know if you guys know about different languages and different cultures where there are multiple different forms of love itself. For example, in Greek, they have 4 different forms of love itself, because they understood that the love between a son and a father is completely different than between 2 lovers, or with, like for example, with you and towards your own job, or like your favorite hobbies or so on. And so there's multiple different forms of love that are quite important to understand, that like when you have love towards something, it's quite a unique form of love that you have towards something. And you can have love towards multiple different things. You cannot, like, love is not something that you can only experience from one direction. You can experience it from multiple different directions, from multiple people, and then also you can give it to multiple people from multiple directions. But during this talk itself, like I really loved. I would love to, like yet again, love to kind of remind myself too about a really interesting concept that I heard from a Buddhist monk, that there's a difference between attachment and love. So attachment and love are 2 different things, and sometimes people word attachment sometimes with the word love itself, and they replace the word attachment with love. And what are these kind of situations? Are the situations where you are, for example, in love with a person, and then you like become so drived on them that they are the absolute necessity for your own happiness, that you cannot find happiness without them. So you actually just think about, like, this person gives me happiness. If this person vanishes from my life, I will not feel happy, so I will do everything that I can to have this person in my life. And this is like a really high form of attachment, where you're attached with a concept of like, this is like the direction where I'm actually getting love, and then, but it's mostly like, just attachment with the other person. But I would say that true love is a form of love where you accept the current situation, no matter what kind of situation it is, and as the other person, just the way as they are, no matter what kind of condition they are at the moment. It doesn't mean the same thing that you don't want them to grow, but you accept the current situation just as it is. And you want the absolute best for them, no matter if you have to let go of them. Because that was something that I really struggled with during my teenage years. Like, how can you love someone? And like, like true form of love, like how can you actually love someone by letting them go? Like how you can do that? It has been like, for me as a teenager, it was really hard to me understand that concept. Like, what do people even mean by that? That's not love. Like, you're just letting them go, and like, don't you love them? Don't you want to be with them? But sometimes the best thing for the other person is not you. Sometimes the best thing for the other person is being happy just the way that they are, and sometimes their absolute source of happiness and their self is coming from somewhere else than being with you. But this is like mostly like romantic love. there's also like multiple different forms of love that are like, not always romantic, or they're more like platonic, and they drive from concepts and so on. I was thinking only platonic. Yeah, that's what Royal is saying. But what do you guys think about that? Does that like wake some memories of your own life that you have experienced? Because like
sorry, what was the question? My sister was talking to me.
no, it's all right. It's like, have you yourself found yourself in this kind of situation where you have noticed that you have been attached with something and you have voted this as love, but then you have been really attached with something? Or does it, like this entire like thing that I said like in the first place, does it like evoke any kind of memories or any kind of like things about your own past or your own life?
I am so lost.
Have you recognized that you have loved something, but you have been completely attached with the other thing, that if you let go of them, you will find great pain from that, even though that you wanted to practice love towards them, and wanted the absolute best for them?
Well, I have this attachment issue where, so at home I don't really get attention. Me and my parents and stuff like that. I don't get any emotional attention. I just get whatever I need, material value, I get that, to live. I'm not spoiled like that, but I don't get anything emotionally. So whenever I do get something emotionally from someone, I get attached to them really quick, and it's really hard for me to detach from them, and it really hurts sometimes. So that is my issue. And it's tough to let go. I know it's I know it hurts me in the situation if I keep being in there, but it's tough to let go. That is my problem. That I've had that multiple times. I know the best thing is to let go, but it's tough.
Yep, especially when you have a family or you're having a life condition where you feel like you're not getting loved by the people around you that you're living with, and you're like relying on. I know how cold it can feel, because it really becomes really cold when you live life when you're in a life like that.
Talk about cold, I need to close my window.
Yeah, it's just because the electricity prices at the moment are so high that you have no no time to be cold. Get warmed up by love.
Nope.
That's free. But yeah, for me too, I have also experienced like life in a situation where I didn't really feel like love from the people around me, and it has some part to do with other people around me, but also my own approach to the situation itself. And it is extremely cold and extremely harsh way to live. But I would say that in just like as everything in life, that everything that has a start has always an end too. And just remember that if you don't feel love at the moment, it is going to be just a temporary feeling. It doesn't mean that it's going to end or stay with you forever, because at some point you're going to find love from somewhere. And if you don't believe me, and if you don't think that that you are deserving of love in general, I would say that you're quite wrong with that, because you just have to seek them out, because there's always someone who cares about you out there. And sometimes the best person who can take care of you and love you is actually yourself. And practice of self-love is sometimes like, the absolute best form of love that I myself have felt, but then also like I think most people would also benefit from that too. In my own culture, like where I'm coming from, we have a really high, like negative feeling against like self-love, because it's like seen as selfishness, that you're always just treating yourself good but not other people are good. But I would say that self-love is a completely different thing than a selfishness, because self-love is a form of love where you see yourself suffering and being pressured by stress and anxiety and so on, and understanding that that you too suffer just like everyone else's. And like a lot of people, including myself, we will treat our friends to the absolute best. If my friend told me that, man, I'm so hungry for Doritos, can you get me some? I will shoot out from my apartment and I will go grab them some Doritos and then bring them back. But if I have something really important to do, like, for example, like, starting my thesis, I'm gonna be like, oh, I was just laying in bed and like, oh, I don't want to do that. It's like, I don't care about that. So sometimes you treat your absolute best friends better than yourself. But when it comes to your own life and your own success and like, your own fulfillment, sometimes you need to treat yourself as your own best friend. So that like when you find yourself in a situation where you need something, you should treat yourself as your best friend, because they are always going to be with you, no matter all the hard and good times. There's 5 minutes before the start of the meditation itself, but is there anyone who wants to wrap up or want to say something that they learned from today? Rovester, is that?
They say love is the highest truth, right?
Yeah,
love is
yeah,
the
that's
highest truth.
Yeah, that's so true. I easily fall into the trap of feeling like you're living for another people. Oh yeah, that's so true. Like, a lot of people also like fall in that kind of trap too, that they just are just serving other people around them. And that's why the practice of self-love is really important, that you're not a doormat for other people, that you should take care of yourself and you should have a high regard of your own well-being and not let anyone change that. Because the better care you can take of yourself, the better care you can take of other people, not the other way around.
Yeah, that's something I need to improve. Because I treat myself like absolute dog shit.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're not the only one. I think a lot of people could relate to that, including myself too. But that's what we are doing over here. We are cultivating a form of life that is much more enjoyable to live. And that's why we are practicing meditation. I'm going to start the meditation pretty much right now. Royal, if you want, you can type the comment out, but I guess that you deleted it. But meanwhile, when I'm waiting for Royal to say their comment, you are free to leave or stay with us. It doesn't matter. We are going to do meditation. If you have never before meditated, don't you worry. You don't need to have any experience to meditate in a guided meditation. It's a lovely experience if it goes really well. And it can also be extremely insightful. It can give you quite a weird understanding of your own life itself. Righty.
I have one question.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think love is a choice. Love someone.
You kind of coming in and out. Everyone craves love and acceptance of others, and it's important. But before trying to complete yourself with others, you need to become whole, and that's so true. That's absolutely true. That you need to be whole with yourself before completing other people.
And in Japanese, you don't have the word love. They say like. Maybe
Oh,
it's
yeah.
difficult for you to love yourself. Start with liking yourself or others.
That's very true. That's a very good approach too, that you don't need to always love, you can just like. Ski. That's what they say.
Yeah.
Righty. I'm going to drink a little bit of water before starting the meditation. But on the meanwhile, I hope that you guys can take a good seat on your chairs.